Welcome to the Lady Beks Experience, Conversations for the Culture, where power meets purpose in every story. I'm your host, Dr. Morris, but y'all can call me Lady Beks. This podcast was created for the culture, by the culture. It's a space for honest conversations that's uplift, challenge, and celebrate who we are, because every voice, every experience, and every truth deserves to be heard. This year for my birthday, I decided I wanted to speak truth to power. And what better way to do that than by starting my own Lady Beks Experience show? Right here, right now, in truth. Life doesn't always go as planned. We grow up dreaming about love, about partnership, about the perfect family picture. But sometimes that picture doesn't turn out the way we imagine, and that's okay. So this segment, I am talking about unmarried but unshaken in my reflection. Today, we're talking about what happens when the plan changes, about having children outside of marriage, about what it means to raise love and build family when the world told you it should have happened differently. They call it out of wedlock. I call it out of judgment, because love doesn't need a license to be divine. I've seen so many strong women and men of color raise incredible children while carrying the weight of the society's side eye, as if family only counts when it's stamped with approval. But I believe there's purpose in every path, even the ones we didn't plan. For example, co-parenting. Like the power of co-parenting, right? I always say, like, we when we have children, we don't, we have children out of love, right? We didn't choose to say, you know what, I'm not going to be in a relationship anymore. But when we decide to go our separate ways, we also decide, we should be healthy deciding that we want to co-parent, right? So healthy co-parenting doesn't mean you have to be best friends. It means you show up as your best self for your child, and it means learning to say, this isn't about me anymore. When you communicate with respect, when you make peace with the goal, not perfection, you teach your child something priceless. So what I have for the audience today is some really thought-provoking questions, right? To get you to really start to reflect on your life, if this is your life. There's 4 questions I have for you. The first question is, what does healthy co-parenting look like for you? Not the internet version, but the real one. How can you move past resentment and keep the focus on the child? That's question 2. Question 3, what lesson about love and accountability are your children learning from how you co-parent? And last but not least, how can we as a community stop shaming parents and start supporting families, all families, in every form they come in? I've learned that when you shift from hurt to healing, everything changes when you stop asking, why didn't this work? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You reclaim your power. The power to co-parent with intention, the power to forgive, the power to model emotional maturity for your child, even when it costs you pride. I want to shift us to reclaiming the narrative. Because you know what's wild? People will try to define your entire life based on one chapter. But the truth is, you are the author. You decide what happens next. Maybe your story includes heartbreak. Maybe it includes disappointment. Maybe it includes starting over, but that doesn't make your story broken. It makes it real. Your story still has purpose. Your family still has beauty. Your child still has love. When I say unmarried but unshaken, I'm talking about every person who decided to stand tall in their truth, who chose to love their children fiercely while rebuilding their own life. That's power. That's purpose. I got something for you all to take away. So before we close, I want to leave you with a few reflection prompts. This is your homework. Write it down. Go get a pen, get a paper. I'll wait for a second. What part of your story are you still ashamed of, and how can you start to own it with pride? Who can you forgive today? Yourself, your co-parent, or maybe even the version of you that you didn't know better. Excuse me. And how will you show up differently for your child this week? Remember this. Your story is not your shame. It's your strength. Your family may not fit the mold, but it's filled with love. It's filled with love. You are raising wholeness, not perfection. Thank you for joining me for this first episode of the Lady Beks Experience, Conversations for the Culture. If this conversation touched your spirit, share it with someone who needs the reminder that healing and co-parenting are acts of power, not shame. Follow, subscribe, and join me next week as we dive into healing while hustling, the emotional course of carrying it all. Until next time, stay courageous, stay inspired, and always walk in purpose. I'm Lady Beks, and this has been The Experience. Have a good night.